Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Thursday afternoon here in the Eastern Time Zone of the USA. It's time for the Manufacturer Showcase, brought to you by DX Engineering. Today is June 10th, 2021, and our guest is Ray Novak, N9JA from ICOM America. Hello, Ray.
Hello, Tim. Hello, everybody on Facebook and YouTube.
And of course, we encourage you to ask questions of Ray and put your questions in the chat. And we will make sure that Ray is the man for all things ICOM. So whether it's a question on the new IC705, whether it's a question on the 7851 from A to Z, Ray can help you. So Ray, why don't you talk about some of the things that are going on around the IC705, maybe some of the accessories?
Oh, the latest accessory to come out is the AH705. In comparison, it's larger than what a lot of people were thinking. It's also larger than some of the other competitive product out there, but the antenna tuner is pretty phenomenal. It runs off of 2 AA batteries that is in a sealed compartment. So you can have the antenna tuner out in the weather and you don't have to worry about water getting into it or it shorting out the batteries or anything like that. The batteries, I don't have a spec as far as how long they last, but there are latching relays in the antenna tuner. So it's only fired up when you need to readjust the frequency that you're operating on. The size gives it a incredible range of tuning capabilities. I've got a real good friend of mine who has taken 2 wires 5 meters in length and has been able to get it to tune and full power out on all frequencies. That is HF and 6 meters. So he's very impressed with it. I get a lot of emails from him showing me different configurations that he's put together with the antennas, and he's having a blast with it.
So Ray, let's talk about these 2 pieces of wire that are about 15 feet long. And so where is he hooking these wires up?
One wire would go to your ground lug or for your counterpoise, and then the other one will go on to the connector. It has a 239 connector on it, so you can also do a 50 ohm antenna. But the adapter that we have looks like a banana plug on a tip, or you can feed a wire through there and clamp down on it.
Okay, so one wire is on the ground stud and one wire is in the center of the UHF female connector. And so on the AH705, do you guys have a spec range of impedances or VSWRs that it'll match?
Not off the top of my head. Pretty much like what we do with the AH70 or AH4, the AH705 has your minimum length of wire needed, and I think it's 80 through 6 with 7 meters, and then for 160 meters we guarantee it to do with a 30 meter length of wire.
Okay.
So
and
those are our guaranteed specs.
Okay. And how much power can this tuner handle? I mean, you can use this tuner with just the 705, or how about other radios?
The AH4 will work with any of the ICOM HF radios that has the 4-pin Molex on it. The AH705 is designed just for the 705.
Okay. And so it's designed to handle the power of the 705 and no more than that.
That is correct.
And that is in the high power mode when you have an external power supply.
Right. That would be the 10 watts.
Right. And but then the AH4 is a different tuner, and that is you can hook up to any ICOM radio.
Yeah, perfect match. If you don't have a 50 ohm type antenna system, you just have a random wire, it's perfect to run with the 7300 for like your Parks on the Air type activation. 705 with the 705 would be great for the Parks on the Air as well.
Okay. And let's see here. We have some questions. What is the price of the AH705?
You tell me, Tim. You guys are the ones that are selling it. I don't remember what the price is off the top of my head. Maybe
don't.
Melanie will come to our rescue in the chat.
Right. Yeah, that I don't have that off the top of my head either. But and of course it does change from time to time. But best to just put AH705 into the search box at dxengineering.com, and it'll be there. Let's see here. We have how long before the shipping bottleneck opens up? Ray, do you want to comment on that? Do you have any info?
Well, it's a combination of shipping as well as having to switch over components because of the chip shortage right now. We do have a lot of product that is en route, and actually we communicated to all the dealers that there is an impending price increase coming because of all the freight increases. So I'm not trying to be Mr. Doom and Gloom here, but the cost of sea shipments, air shipments, everything's gone through the roof because of it. And it's been interesting on some of the other YouTube groups that I've been on live, feedback after the show when people are doing searching about the sea freight costs. I mean, it's getting crazy. It's container space is going up for auction now, and anytime we get away from a known pricing structure to an auction, it gets very dangerous.
Yep. So
it's very volatile, I should say, on pricing.
$350 for the AH705 at DX Engineering. Another question is when will we might see the ID52?
Fingers are crossed for this calendar year, but nothing solid at this point.
Okay. Just stay tuned on that. Norm writes in, the 705 is absolutely amazing and a fun transceiver. Excellent performance, just like the 7300, but even better. And see, do we have any other ICOM questions? Now is your chance to talk to the guy. We got Ray Novak.
I did see a comment come through about the IC 7300 and some type of AF issues.
Yeah.
The only things that I have seen is issues that people are having when they're running FT8 and not using toroids to keep RF from getting into the USB cable. But I have not heard of any other issues. Tim, have you heard or seen anything?
I have not heard any problems with the 7300 related to AF at all. But you're right. If you do have an unbalanced antenna or an antenna with a very high SWR, where you're getting a lot of RF coming back down the shield of the coax, you've got RF in the shack, or if your rig is located close to your antenna, very close. Some of these setups, folks have got them 5-10 feet away, and so you're absolutely right, Ray. You got to have ferrite on both ends of the USB cable to make sure that you knock down all of the RF problems.
And we talked about this lug right here, Tim, on the AH705. You got one of those on your 7300, your 7610. There's one on the 705. Use it. Bond it so you've got it tied into the same grounding system to take care of any EFI that could be getting into your USB cable, and spend a little extra money to get a good quality USB cable as well.
So, Ray, they're asking, will ham fare be on this year over in Japan? Do you know?
I have not seen anything that said it was being canceled.
Okay.
But the last news report that I saw about vaccinations, they were about 5% of the population vaccinated. So if they have it, being able to travel over there could be a different thing. We've had people that have traveled over there that had to have 2 weeks quarantine at a hotel before they were able to go out in public. So it might be for their local community, their local area, but there again, international travel might be very difficult.
So, question, Ray, when might we see the PW2?
With everything that's been going on with COVID, the chip shortage, that product was delayed before we had any of this. So we're not even discussing it right now. We're scrambling, trying to keep our current production product moving because of chips not being available.
Okay.
So I have no information on that one.
Okay. There was a question, are there any plans to replace the IC7851?
No, sir, we don't. They're still in production, and that radio has been right now just same story, getting the chips and getting everything to produce it.
KDRT.
I know it has been discontinued I do know it has been discontinued in Europe, but no plans to discontinue it in the U.S.
Okay. Are there any plans to update the 7100 with the same color display as the 7300 and the 705?
Kind of a loaded question. I kind of hope not. And the reason why is the price point that it's selling at right now. A new unit with a new display, you're talking about new operating system to support the display, and new features. You're going to see it go back up to what the 7100 was selling for when it first came out, anywhere between $1,250 to $1,499. Right now, you guys are selling it in the mid 800s, I believe, or maybe lower than that, Tim.
Yep. All right. Let's go on to Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey. He says, anything in the pipeline to upgrade or replace the 7100, although the 7100 is a great radio?
We just covered that one.
Okay. Is the 705 color box just for North American market? I saw a few brown box IC 705 on the YouTube unboxings.
I'm pretty sure it's color for all the countries.
Okay.
Not 100% sure. I know the first ones that I saw out of Japan were color. The ones we have here are color.
Okay. N4BCD says JA Hamfair is still a go. Jim says, is an IC 756 Pro considered a vintage transceiver? You can consider it any. It's a great radio. Yep. Vintage or not. Let's see here. I still love my 751. Any plans to add 6 meters and a sound card to the IC 718?
I would say no. And I'm just thinking of the price difference that you have between the 718 and the 7300 right now.
Right.
I mean, the 718's been out for quite some time. The R&D, I mean, I'm just being completely open. When you look at the pricing, anytime you have a new version of a radio, you're going to have a higher cost. So coming out with a replacement for the 718 is probably going to put it in a $799 to $899 price point. And the 7300, with what all it does right now at $1,000 after mail-in rebate, that's one heck of a value.
It's an incredible value. NA5 Charlie says, still loving my IC7610. Thanks again for the recommendation. Hope to see you at IWCE. It's, November Alpha 5 Charlie. And let's see, what is the first sign of the IC7300 screen going out? I'm getting a little ghosting.
I've not heard of any issues with the 7300 screen at all. So if you're having a problem with it, if it's starting to get some ghosting, you might want to try a reset, see what your color, your background, and your contrast lighting is set for. I mean, that display has been rock solid.
Yeah, I've not heard of any screen issues, so that doing a radio reset may help it. The IC7200, is it still in production?
No, that one, let's see, maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, it's a rock solid radio. It's being used in Northern California DX Foundation's Beacon program. That's their main HF transceiver, but no, it's not in production.
Okay. Kate DRT asks, are there any new firmware features in the pipeline for the 705 we can look forward to?
Nothing that I've seen come down the pipeline. The latest firmware that I've seen, I know we just had one recently, but I can't remember which radio it was. Maybe it was the update for the 7851s to give the display scroll capability.
Right. Have
you tried that in your search and pounce radios yet, Tim?
Yes. Yeah, it works great. It works really good. CE2 Bravo Mike Whiskey from Chile says, hi guys, will there be a replacement for the IC7700?
Right now, all the R&D has been focused on getting the current product going. Nothing on there for any of our current models to be replaced.
And Roberto says, any price changes for shipping at DX Engineering forthcoming? That's Whiskey Alpha 9 Echo. I can tell you, Roberto, that everything is getting more expensive. And so, you know, if your order in the U.S. is more than $99, we try to ship it to you for free. There are some exclusions on that if it's long or it's really heavy, but right now there are no plans to change from that program. Let's see. Celzo says, is there a possibility to launch internal coupler for my IC 718? Papa Tango 2 November Kilo.
No, sir. There is no room in that radio to install an internal antenna coupler.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why when the question was asked about adding a sound card to the 718 in a new model, by the time you take a look at the things, the high stability crystal oscillator, the better filtering for your digital modes, your sound card, your internal antenna tuner, all of those add-ons are more than what the 7300 is going for today.
Another question, are there new Dstar repeaters available yet?
Those, we will be doing a product release announcement later this month.
John KA1LDO asks, is there a reason ICOM puts the electronic key jacks on the front versus the back?
I know there's the key in the front, but I also know there's one on the back of the radio too.
No, just in the front. For the key. So this is for the paddles to go into there's only connections on the front.
I'm thinking about when you connect your computer up to key the radio, there is a key jack on the back of it for like a straight key type. And that's what I'm thinking of. No plans beyond that. No.
Okay. Any update on the new generation Dstar repeaters? Well, we covered that. I have an ICOM 706 Mark II-G, and it's working great from YN1ZO. And let's see, we've got Ray Higgins, W2 Radio Echo is on here. Always great to hear from Ray. And Alan says, what percentage
Yes, it is.
Of the earlier 7610s require screen replacement?
Really don't know yet, because we're still waiting for the volume of customers that were saying that they had to be replaced to send them in. The numbers that we have seen to replace right now have been less than 200 radios. And I know we've sold a lot more than that just through DX Engineering.
Right. Rusty says, what are the best mic settings for a Heil 781 on an IC 7300? I can comment on that. Bob Heil gave a presentation recently, and he said the settings would be +4 on the treble and -2 on the bass. And I have set all the 7851s here to that. I think it sounds phenomenal. But I'm using a PR40 and also the HC5s, but they sound really, really good. Kevin says on your website, you are showing the IC 7610 is available for shipping on 7/22 if the order is put in today. How solid is that date? That date can change. As dates with everything are in flux right now. What used to be very, very solid dates just, and the reason is that's based on the information that we have, it's July 22nd. But next week, Ray might say, well, I got them sooner. Or he might say, you got to push that date out. So given what we know now, Kevin, July 22nd is the date, but that could change. The thing of it is, if you put your order in, it gets you on the list. And so back orders, when we do get radios, we fill according to when the order came to us. So whatever the oldest order is gets the first radio. So that's how that works. 892 Golf Whiskey says, besides Huntsville, any other hamfests on your radar, Ray?
Oh, I just had a meeting with my guys going over shows, and with adding the Marine and aviation to my schedule, they all become a blur now. I do remember us talking about Pacificon, but we haven't heard if that one's going to occur or not.
So nothing solid.
W9DXCC, they talked about their show going on. I think W4DXCC is going to be occurring as well. Beyond that, I don't think there's anything on the schedule amateur-wise for the rest of this calendar year.
How about some Dstar Tutorials and APRS apps? I would suggest going to YouTube for those things, but you might have something else, Ray?
Yeah, there's been a lot of Dstar stuff put on the ICOM America YouTube channel from the Georgia Dstar guys that have done our Dayton Dstar 101. So there's a good, if you want to sit through it all and do a binge weekend, we probably rival Marvel with the number of hours of Dstar videos that you can watch.
Okay, Celzo says, what are optional boards for the IC 718? Are there any optional boards?
I know there at one time, I don't know what is still currently available. Most of them have been discontinued because of the age of the product and looking at the volume of sales. Most of the 718s right now are sold as a utility type HF product, not as much as a main ham radio unit now. And it's been surprising to see the newer generals coming in and going straight to the 7300 as their first radio instead of going to the 718. But at one time, you had your CW filter, you had a narrower sideband filter, you had a high stability crystal oscillator, and I think that was the 3 internals for it.
Okay. Mike says, I love my 7300. I bought a second one. Thanks for all you do, DX Engineering and ICOM. And Mike, thanks very much for your business. Travis, W3TMB says, good afternoon, Tim and Ray. I just added 2 IC2730As to my bag of tricks for events and support. They work great, helping me fill in RF holes using the crossband mode. And we have, Dawn says, Heil has recommended settings for various radios and mics on their website as well. Thank you for that, Dawn. Let's see here if we have any. A92 Golf Whiskey says, congratulations on your new position. WD8NBN says, W9DXCC is a go. 9 Kilo 2 Golf Tango on from Kuwait. And let's see. ICOM has done a great job of supporting youth interest in amateur radio. Are there any programs available to help groups like the Boy Scouts of America get youth interested and get them on the air during events like the Jamboree on the Air? You comment on that, Ray?
If you go to the K2BSA website, there is a partnership that ICOM has done with the Boy Scouts of America to help troops and councils that might not have ham radio equipment, or the hams that support those groups do not want to take their equipment out. We have a complete kit that is the power supply, radio, and antenna microphone to allow them to use to get on the air to support those kind of events. So yes, we do something with BSA.
Okay. Ray, is ICOM planning any 1.2 gigahertz Dstar mobiles or HTs?
Not at this point. The only thing, unfortunately, is the new Dstar repeater module, the IDRP 1200 and the 9700. That's the only thing that we have that would be doing the 1.2 at this time.
Is it your birthday?
No, sir. It was a few days back, though.
Okay. Well, belated happy birthday.
I really can't fake my birthday. It's straight 6s across the board.
There you go. Well, Ray, thanks so much for coming on today. I know you're a busy guy, but we really appreciate not only the quality of the radio equipment, but all the things that you and ICOM America do to support this great hobby. You give back in a lot of ways. There's a whole list of things that ICOM America gives back to the hobby. So thank you for that. And thank you for your friendship. And also the relationship between DX Engineering and ICOM is super good. So we're going to continue to just sell everything you can send us.
Well, we will be shipping them as quickly as they come in. And just to touch bases on one of the other things, items that were scheduled to arrive at the end of April, beginning of May, are supposed to be arriving in 2 weeks. So that gives you an idea of the delay that we're seeing with port congestion, shipping lane congestion, and then finally, what do they do with it once the containers are off the ships? I mean, there's delays in every section of that transportation layer.
Yeah, it's just stay tuned. Those dates can move, and we're going to update and give you the best information we have. It's not always a pretty sight, but it's going to be a while before things settle down, but we'll do our best. Ray, thanks so much, and 73 to everybody at ICOM, and we'll see you next time.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
73 from DX Engineering.